Brookfield's here, so it's new album time. In a few weeks, on the 9th of July, I'm releasing my new album, Hey Kiddo. So it's kind of only traditional at this stage that I do a bit of a run through of the tracks on the album. It's a project that I've wanted to do for a long time because I have, you know, originally my career kind of started by playing a lot of rockabilly and musicals that had a lot of rock and roll in them. So a big part of my development as a musician has come through early rock and roll, like Elvis, Buddy Holly, and those kind of twangy 50s, early 60s sounds. My last two albums, Love Breaks the Fall and Brookfield, has been very blues based, where I've been using fuzz tones and it's been a lot more kind of blues rock. But I felt to balance out my output, that was really important that I put out some music that reflected the other side of my playing. And you know, as far as I can see, there's not a huge amount of people doing it as well. So it's kind of nice, I think, for some fresh music to kind of to be out there in this genre, because there's no shortage of blues rock guitar players for sure. So it's nice as a blues rock guitar player to just show a different side of my playing. So like what influenced me really was when in about 1996 I bought this compilation album, Rock Don't Run, and it had a load of original bands on it, like, you know, kind of garage bands, surf rock bands like the Kaisers and the Volcanoes, Lost Straight Jackets with, you know, like Eddie Angel. You know, he's kind of like he's like the Eric Clapton of kind of surf rock, isn't he? He's like the king. He deserves more credit. More credit given to Eddie Angel, please. Guitar magazines and things like that should hit him up, and because he's so influential and people who like this music, you know. And there's some really great tracks on this, and I listened to this to death. And in the late 90s, I really wanted to do an album based on this kind of music, and I just couldn't work out how to do it. It was just the way the music was. I just couldn't work out how to do it, and it took me until 2021 to work out how to do it. And Hey Kiddo. So this is 12 tracks, original tunes, all super snappy, around about 3-minute mark, you know. Wave Shaped Moon, Hey Kiddo, Aquacat, Shoot a Curl, Diamond Beach, Bikini Robots, Lightning Tube Snake, Rollin' in Candy, King Strut, Rock You Are, Surf Punk, and Guitar Angel. So I'm going to go through each track now and just say what kind of, if any thoughts behind it that kind of might interest you. So the first one, Wave Shaped Moon. So there's a tune on that Rock Don't Run compilation called Half Moon Bay, and I think originally that's what I kind of wanted to write. I wanted to write a tune like that, and like a lot of times when you're writing, you aim for one thing and it ends up being completely different. And also, you know, it's got that real stereotypical kind of surf vibe of the fast tremolando picking, and I felt like if I was going to do this style of album, I needed one track that kind of did that. Tip the hat to Dick Dale, and you know, on one way tipping my hat to legends like Dick Dale, and then maybe lesser known super cool bands like the Volcanoes. So Wave Shaped Moon I think is going to be a super favourite live, you know. The second track is Hey Kiddo, the title track. And I kind of wrote this because I wanted to give the audience something to shout back at me. I wanted a slightly punky surf rock kind of vibe, something quite trashy, and I wanted the audience to be able to shout something. And when you do a lot of gigs, those things are just so much fun. They give people a great memory of your gig. So I wrote this tune called Hey Kiddo, which has a kind of like a chant chorus, and I got my kids to shout it out, and anybody who was close by, come over to this microphone and shout Hey Kiddo down there for us, will you? So that's a really good fun track. I think it's only like 2 minutes and 20 seconds long or something, so that was really like super tight kind of arrangements I was going for. Aquacat was a kind of like a minor kind of A groove. I think I started out playing like a Matchbox, you know, Carl Perkins Matchbox start kind of thing. That's where it originated from, and then it kind of grew into a slightly different thing. Like, what makes Aquacat slightly more unique is that it has a solo at the end, which is kind of a real build, so it's much closer to the blues rock thing than any other track on the album. There's a kind of like a good minute and a half there where there's a blues solo that kind of builds, whereas the rest of the tracks they're much kind of shorter and snappier. So I think kind of playing that one live is going to be great because it gives the opportunity to kind of build a solo in that kind of using some of the blues chops, where none of the other tracks really hugely bluesy, but some of them are based on 12-bar blues, so there's kind of blues but kind of like disguised. It's not kind of like in your face obviously influenced by blues, but there's always a subcurrent of it in the form and the choices of like what you're playing on the guitar. The next one, Shoot a Curl, which is the first kind of track I previewed. I released a video of that a week or so ago, and it's gone down really well. I appreciate everybody who's left kind comments on that video, and what I wanted is some kind of like fast moving chords and arpeggios for that one to contrast the other tracks, and it ended up coming a bit, there's a section on it that ends up coming out a bit like there's a band called Focus from the 70s, Hocus Pocus and stuff like that, and it reminds me of a thing that they used to do, Jan Ackerman. Shoot a Curl, that's kind of one of the real trickiest pieces to kind of play because it's like, it's action packed, it's almost like a car chase. This is track 5, Diamond Beach. By the time you get to track 5, it's kind of a welcome ballad kind of comes in, and it's called Diamond Beach, and it just has that stereotypical sound of summer and the 50s and spring break or something like that. So, you know, you just kind of like all of those stereotypical images of what you remember, or what those images you've been sold about the classic rock and roll are in on Diamond Beach, and that's one of my favorites on the album. Bikini Robots is a real kind of up-rocking track again, and I actually recorded my son saying, "We have the Bikini Robots," through the baby monitor in the other room because I wanted that kind of distorted sound. So I recorded that through the baby monitor and set up kind of mics and things like that, like you do. Lightning Tube Snake is just out and out bonkers. You know, it starts off with a kind of like an ambient vibe on a Frisian mode, kind of like spacey thing, and then it kind of goes into, is it Metallica or is it Buddy Holly? Is it, you know, is it heavy metal or what is it? But again, it's one of my favorites because it's just so, I don't know what to compare it to. It's just completely bonkers, which I love. The madder the better. Okay, Rolling in Candy, it is what it says it is. It's super sweet, it's like sugar, it's kind of major tonality and strong, there's an emphasis on strong melodies. Usually my playing and my albums are really based around just pure emotion, but I really wanted to kind of use my melodic sensibilities on this and just create really, really strong melodies. King Strut, track 9, seems to be quite a popular one with people who've heard the album. It's kind of a slower paced one as well. It's got this kind of mysterious melody to it, and in the middle, bam, it's almost like Brian Setz has walked in the room. It's got that kind of rockabilly kind of swing thing happening. Surf punk is like, you know, just because it's instrumental music doesn't mean that it can't tell a story. The story I've invented for this is surf punk at the beginning, the slow bit, he's in an ambulance, he's going to a hospital, and then he suddenly comes around again and he's like, I've got to get back to the surf. He jumps out of the ambulance, bam, he's back surfing again, and then halfway through the tune it goes slow again. He's obviously had another accident. Oh, he's back in the ambulance. But some people like to think of that like he's been arrested or something because he's a bad boy. But I like to think of it that he's just kind of like knocked himself out on a massive wave, but he can't help going back because he's a rebel surf punk. And then Guitar Angel is kind of almost like the end of like Grease or something, where the car's flying off and they're all waving goodbye in the Cadillac, that kind of thing, you know. So, you know, that's a quick blast through the album. A quick shout out to Peter Eads, who plays bass and drums on it. He's kind of a multi-instrumentalist in Ireland, super amazing kind of musician, and it was great collaborating with him, and he collaborated with me on Brookfield and Love Breaks the Fall as well. And then Billy Farrell, who mastered it, and Steve Averill, who did the great artwork. Steve Averill, famous for, you know, doing the Joshua Tree album and stuff like that. So anyway, I hope you dig it. Please pre-order it. It's out at the beginning of July. It's all fun, twangy gretsch, you know, surf rock, and can't wait to get out and play it. And I think it's going to sit great alongside the Love Breaks the Fall, the more darker blues playing, which is obviously, you know, so hopefully when you get a gig you get kind of Clapton and dirty blues, Stevie Ray kind of tones, and then next minute it's kind of like Eddie Angel, super twang. So please pre-order, check it out on the website. I have a very limited amount of CDs. Hopefully we'll get some vinyl done at some point, but really appreciate your support, and keep it burning, and I'll speak to you soon.